Morning at Luxuria Motors began with its usual sparkle. Glass walls shimmered under the light of crystal chandeliers. Polished bodies of Ferraris and Rolls-Royces gleamed, and the scent of leather and cardamom coffee filled the air. Mark, the owner of the dealership, stood around the corner in the rain, his face tucked into the collar of a worn-out windbreaker. He loved these little experiments, testing how clients were treated when no one recognized him as the boss. Today he looked like a truck driver, faded jeans, scuffed sneakers, and even traces of motor oil on his hands. Remnants of a late-night tinkering session with a vintage Mustang in his garage. The door chimed softly as Mark entered. A young manager, Arthur, stepped forward, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, a smirk of disdain on his face. "Can I help you?" he said, eyeing Mark from head to toe. "This isn't a gas station, you know." Mark smirked, wiping the rain from his face. "I'd like to take a look at the new Bentley Continental." Arthur snorted. "That costs as much as your apartment. Maybe you should try over there." He gestured toward a smudged window, behind which a used sedan was parked. Mark slowly walked through the showroom, running his hand over the hood of a bright yellow Lamborghini. Arthur followed him like a shadow, muttering under his breath, "Be careful, you might scratch it. You wouldn't be able to afford the repairs." From the office emerged the manager, Andrew, silver-haired, with an eagle-like gaze. When he saw Mark, he froze. Then his face lit up. "Mr. Mark," his voice trembled. "You said you'd be here tomorrow." Arthur turned pale as if carved from marble. The showroom fell silent, save for the ticking of the floor clock. Mark turned to Arthur. There was no anger in his eyes, only sadness. "You know, I started out washing cars at a place like this," he said quietly. "They fired me when I approached a client's Mercedes in torn sneakers." He took off his windbreaker, revealing a Patek Philippe watch underneath. "Tomorrow we'll gather everyone. We'll talk about how luxury isn't in the showroom, but in the way we treat people." Andrew nodded while Arthur, looking down, whispered, "I'm sorry, I'll resign if you want." "Resign?" Mark chuckled. "Are you out of your mind? You're here to work, not quit. Just remember, a client isn't always in a suit with a wad of cash. Sometimes they're in old sneakers but dreaming of a new car. Tomorrow you'll be at the entrance, greeting everyone, whether they're in suits or windbreakers." The next day, Arthur opened the door for everyone. His first client was an elderly man in worn-out boots. The man wandered around the showroom, touching the cars, and then unexpectedly bought a Porsche for his grandson, in cash. Arthur, flustered, could only nod and smile. Mark, watching from his office window, smiled faintly. He knew his showroom now shone not just with chrome, but with something far more important: respect for everyone who walked through the door.